What's up guys, my name's Brandon and today we're going to be unboxing the brand new iPhone 13 Pro in Graphite and the 13 Pro Max in the all new exclusive color for this year, Sierra Blue. So in this video, we're going to be unboxing these phones. We're going to compare it to last year's iPhone 12 Pro colors. We're going to compare it to the regular iPhone 13. We're going to talk about the new camera features and we'll probably test them out in this video as well. We're going to run through the setup process and just pretty much do everything, give you guys my first overall impressions of the iPhone 13 Pros. So we're going to save the Sierra Blue for last. We're going to go ahead and unbox the Graphite iPhone 13 Pro first. So the iPhone 13 Pro this year, they're the same price as last year. So $999 to start for 128 gigabytes. $10.99 for 256, $12.99 for 512, and this year we have an all-new 1 terabyte option for $14.99. And I went ahead and picked up the 256 gigabyte version for the Pro and the Pro Max this year because I want to be able to have access to ProRes video at 4K, and you cannot get that with the 128 gigabyte version. So even more incentive to go 256 or above this year. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into the unboxing. So this year, we don't have any plastic on the outside. We just have these two peel tabs now. So we'll just go ahead and peel these off right here. And also the box is black. The regular iPhone 13s have a white box. So if you guys want to see the regular iPhone 13 unboxing and color comparisons, I will leave that video down in the description below. But let's set this off further to the side and take a look at this Graphite iPhone 13 Pro. So there's what it looks like. Man, I just love the look of Graphite. I mean, just that dark, not black, but not gray either. It's kind of like a dark gray. I just love the look of this color. It looks really, really solid this year. Now, again, unfortunately, I've not had a Graphite phone in a while, but I can go ahead and compare it to the iPhone 11 series. So they had the Graphite here, and it looks about the same as that. Maybe a little bit lighter, but it looks very similar to the iPhone 11 Pro. So if you have the 11 Pro, you can expect a very similar shade of gray here. And here's what it looks like next to the Pacific Blue iPhone 12 Pro Max. So just kind of give you an idea of the shade of gray that it is. So we'll set this over to the side. Inside, we have our USB-C to Lightning cable, no block, just the cable. Then we have our little pamphlet here with our SIM eject tool and a pamphlet here, our getting started guide, and then also one lone Apple sticker. I really wish the Apple stickers were color coordinated this year like they were with the new iMac, but let's go ahead and set this box over here and take off our screen protector. Always satisfying. And I love these borders. I just love these borders. I know they're big time fingerprint, magnets. They're going to get fingerprints like crazy, just like last year. But I just love the look of that stainless steel border. It's just so nice to look at. You can just tell it's like an expensive, nice phone. And my first impression of these cameras are, it's self-explanatory. Look how big these camera lenses are. They are just absolutely massive this year. The circles, just compared to the iPhone 12 Pro Max here. Even the 12 Pro Max had bigger than the regular 12 Pro. Let me go and get my 12 Pro out. Take a look at the size difference in those lenses from last year's 12 Pro to this year's 13 Pro. Those lenses are just massive. And when I hold them in the hand, again, just like the regular iPhone 13, I really can't tell that big of a difference in the weight. They are thicker this year and they are also heavier than the iPhone 12 Pro. But it doesn't feel it. Unless I knew that, unless I read it online and just knew about it, I probably would think that they feel the same. So don't expect to see, a device this year that's so much heavier than last year. It's really not that big of a difference at all. You probably won't even notice it. So I want to check out what the notch looks like here though. So we get our hello screen there and you can see the notch size compared to the iPhone 12 Pro over here on the right. So it is a little bit taller, but it's not as wide as it was. And also the bezels they actually look about the same as the iPhone 12 Pro, whereas on the 13, the bezels looked a little bit smaller. That could just be me seeing things, but they look about the same to me this year on the Pro models. And the button placement and everything is also the same. So you can see there, the placement of the buttons is exactly the same on the Pros on both sides. Top and bottom, nothing different except for that notch. And the speaker, of course, is a little bit higher as well, closer to the top of the phone. Now, one thing I'm really looking forward to on the Pros is that 120 Hertz ProMotion display. Now, just going through this setup process, I can't tell a difference yet. I'm probably gonna have to scroll through the home screen to really see a difference, but I'm just gonna go ahead and quickly set this up manually so I can get to that home screen and see if I can see a difference with ProMotion versus regular 60 Hertz displays like we had last year on the 12 Pros. So we have Face ID right here. I just want to go ahead and do this real quick and see if it's any faster than last year with the iPhone 12 Pro series. So feels about the same to me. Face ID, it's really easy. It recognizes your face really easily and goes really fast. It's definitely a huge improvement over like the iPhone 11 series, but I don't really know if it's that much faster than the iPhone 12 A12 series. So you may not see a big improvement in Face ID with that A15 Bionic chip versus the A14 last year, but you could. Just my initial impression is that I couldn't really tell a big difference. So we're gonna set our passcode real quick. We're just gonna set it to some 0 so we can get past this. And then here's where you get the option to restore from an iCloud backup or transfer your data over from an Android or another iPhone. I'm not going to transfer right now because I will have a video showing you guys how to do that here in a little bit, but we're gonna set up our Apple ID later in the settings as well. We're gonna agree to our terms, keep our phone up to date. We're gonna use iMessage. We'll do location services. We'll set up our Siri later, and same with screen time. I'm not gonna share iPhone analytics because I wanna save battery life, which the battery life, by the way, on the Pros this year is going to be 2.5 hours more than last year's Pro models, which is just insane. I mean, just thinking about 2.5 hours longer of battery life on the Pro Max just seems like bananas. Like that could last multiple days for some users. Now the Pro still got good battery life last year, the 12 Pro, so 2.5 hours more is gonna make the 12 Pro feel like the 12 Pro Max did last year. So we're gonna set this up as standard display, and we are on our iPhone right here. And here's where I can definitely tell a difference. So when I switch screens like this, I can definitely feel that 120 Hertz ProMotion display. That thing feels super smooth. So that tells me that it's enabled out of the box. So let's go into our settings and see if we have anything for that. So I guess it would probably be an accessibility maybe, and then probably an audio visual. Let's see if it's in here somewhere. So maybe not an audio visual. Oh, it's probably right here in motion. So if we go to motion, yes, limit frame rate right here. So it says sets the maximum frame rate to the display to 60 frames per second. So you can revert this back to 60 frames per second if you want to. So ProMotion is enabled out of the box, and this is the way to disable it if you want to. So you can limit it back to 60 frames per second. So I just want to go back to the home screen and see what that feels like. So yeah, you could tell, I mean, even just switching the screens, you could tell a small difference. Now, the big difference is going to be coming from playing games and watching movies and things like that. You're really going to get the benefit there. So I'm going to go ahead and download a game while we unbox the iPhone 13 Pro Max here in a second. Actually, I just realized I'm not signed in. So I'm going to sign in on the iPhone 13 Pro Max once we unbox it. So here's the iPhone 13 Pro Max in the Sierra Blue colorway. And this is the one I was probably looking forward to the most of this year's iPhones that were coming out, just because of the improvements to the battery life. I mean, 2.5 hours more of battery life. The new color looks awesome. Just a lot of things to look forward to with the Pro Max. And again, I did get this in $256, and the pricing is just $100 more than the Pro. So it starts at $1099 for the 128 gigabyte version, then it goes up to $1199 for 256, $1399 for 512, and $1599 for 1 terabyte. So if you really wanted to ball out, you could get the $1,599 iPhone 13 Pro Max this year and 1 terabyte, which would be crazy. But that's overkill for me. I only needed 256. So again, same packaging deal, just bigger. The packaging is bigger than the Pro. So let's go ahead and take these off and see what this new Sierra Blue color looks like. And I really want to compare it to last year's. So let's take this box off the top, and there's what it looks like. It looks really good. So from some angles, it looks like an off gray almost. So it's definitely a lot lighter than last year's. Obviously, you could tell a big difference in the shade of blue. Let me clean these fingerprints off. So you can see the difference here in the shade of blue on last year's Pacific Blue to this year's Sierra Blue. So I don't really know which one I like better. I really like them both a lot. They just have completely different like personalities, different styles to them. So I like it. You can see the borders obviously lighter on the Sierra Blue as well. Still a fingerprint magnet as expected, doesn't matter the color. But yeah, I mean, take a look at that camera bump too. I mean, those lenses are massive. I thought the Pro was massive. The Pro Max, I wonder how it compares if we put them side by side. So you can see the difference there. I mean, 13 Pro, 13 Pro Max, and then iPhone 12 Pro Max on the far right. So look at the difference in those lenses. So we do get some really awesome features this year, like we get macro photography, we get cinematic mode, we get the photo filters, we have ProRes video coming later this year. So a lot of great things coming to the 13 Pros this year. And again, the iPhone 13 Pro Max is slightly heavier and thicker than the 12 Pro Max. And this is actually the first iPhone I've picked up where I can feel the difference. So I didn't feel the difference in the 13, the 13 mini, or the 13 Pro. But the 13 Pro Max, I can tell a little bit of a difference in the weight. So it does feel slightly more heavy, but you know, if you're getting this big of a phone anyways, you probably don't mind that. And it is also a little bit thicker. Might be hard to see, it's just barely thicker, but it is a little bit wider this year on those borders. And then we get the same things inside as the regular 13 Pro. Let's go ahead and take that screen off and boot this guy up. I do want to download a game just to see if I could tell a difference with that Pro Motion display, that 120 Hertz Pro Motion display, because you can feel it on the home screen a little bit, but you can't really tell that big of a difference. I mean, your average consumer's probably not gonna tell any difference at all going from regular 60 Hertz to 120 Hertz. So I feel like you're only gonna see the big difference in gaming and things like that, maybe videos as well. All right, so I've been stuck on this screen for like 25 minutes trying to set up the Apple ID and activate the phone. It's probably because every other person in the world is doing the same thing at the same time and Apple servers are just overloaded. So we're gonna set the Pro Max over to the side and just work on the Pro throughout this video. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about this Pro Motion display because it's 120 Hertz, but it's a variable refresh rate. So that means it's not always at 120 Hertz. So it can go down and up based on the actions that you're doing on the phone, based on what applications you're in, how hard you're pushing the phone. So like if you played like PUBG or something that's really intensive, it's gonna go up to probably 120 Hertz. But when you're just on the home screen right here and maybe moving really slowly, it's probably not gonna be 120 Hertz. So like when you're in a web browser, it's probably not gonna be 120 Hertz. But the faster you move and the more intensive you get with it, the higher that refresh rate is gonna go up, which is neat. All right, so I'm just gonna try to see if you guys can see a difference in the iPhone 12 Pro Max and the 13 Pro here when I'm just doing this really fast little movement here on the home screen. I wonder if you could actually see a difference when I slow it down, because I can just tell you just from looking at it, just here in person with my own eyes, it looks so much smoother on the 13 Pro. So I'm gonna make another video on the 120 Hertz display here on the iPhone 13 Pro. I'll probably do like a speed test and compare it to the iPhone 12 Pro or 12 Pro Max and just see the difference in that 120 Hertz display versus the 60 Hertz. So I'll find some games and some tests to do to really show you and really break down how much better this display is, because even if it's not that big of a difference, you know, in terms of actual performance, it feels faster, it feels better, it just feels smoother in the hand than any other iPhone we've had, because again, this is the first iPhone to have 120 Hertz. Now I did also want to go ahead and check out the wallpapers here, the exclusive wallpapers for the Pros. So you can see right there in the live wallpaper section, we have some live wallpapers. So we have blue, green, like a pinkish purple, and then a gold right here. So this is the black. I feel like the gold might look good with the black right here. So you could haptic press on this and see the animation. Really cool looking right here. So we'll set this as our home screen and lock screen, and you can see that's what it looks like. And then the final thing I wanted to do is check out the camera on this iPhone 13 Pro. So you can see right here that we have the 0.5x for the ultra wide, the 1x, and then now it's 3x. So before that was a 2x button, so we have improved zoom there. And then if we go over here, we have the cinematic mode. This is also a feature on the iPhone 13. However, something exclusive to the Pros is with macro photography. So I guess there's not anything for macro. You just have to do it with the regular photo application. But I wanted to test that out. So I'm just gonna grab my microfiber here and try to take a macro shot. So I'm on the 3x zoom and take a look at the detail I can see. So you don't have to go into a mode for the macro shots, but look at what I just got out of this microfiber towel. I can see like all the fibers in it, which is crazy. So macro shots are gonna be incredible on the iPhone 13 Pro. That's impressive. And then like I mentioned, we do also have the ProRes video coming later this year. So ProRes video is not available right now on the 13 Pros, but it will be coming probably in a software update later on this year. And if you guys wanna see a test of the cinematic mode, let me know in a comment down below, but it looks really solid. I mean, this looks really, really good. Being able to set the focus points and things like that, I think the cinematic mode is gonna be really, really cool. You could also set the f-stop and change it and things like that. So not the best example there. That was just my first time doing it, but it's pretty cool. And if you go back to this, if we go to that, and then let's go to, okay, get a lot of pop-ups. If we go to edit right here, you can see we could change the focal length there in video, just like we could do in photos before. And you can actually turn cinematic mode off if you want to. So if you shoot something in cinematic mode and you don't want it to be in cinematic, it looks like you could turn that feature off after the fact, which is pretty neat. So yeah, this camera is extremely impressive. I mean, again, look at those fibers that I got out of that microfiber towel. The macro shots are awesome on this device, and I can't wait to use the camera on the 13 Pro Max because even more light is gonna be able to come in, which should lead to even better pictures than on the regular 13 Pro. But anyways, guys, there you have it. That is my unboxing and first impressions of the brand new iPhone 13 Pro in graphite and the 13 Pro Max in the new Sierra blue color. Let me know what you guys think about these down in the comments below. If you guys enjoyed this video, I would appreciate if you gave it a thumbs up, and of course subscribe for a ton more iPhone 13 coverage. But anyways, guys, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon. you.